Hi, Rachel. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming on today. I am excited to talk with you about YouTube today. I know that you started your YouTube here not too long ago. I just kind of wanted to dive into talking about how you got started, why you got started, and a little bit of your journey of YouTube fame.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I started my channel in August of 2021, so almost 3 years now. I got certified basically like that month. So once I was done studying for the exam, I was like, okay, I've got 20 extra hours a week to do something. So I was like, might as well start a YouTube channel because I had seen, just studying, you're like looking up stuff, looking up exercises. And I'd been very familiar with fitness YouTube, like strength training and stuff, but I had never done Pilates YouTube. And I realized they're not, it's almost like the video quality didn't seem as hard to make. It wasn't like these big productions. So I'm like, okay, as a Pilates instructor coming in, it might not be as hard to do well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I used my iPhone first. I did get a mic. Well, I'll go through the equipment later, but yeah, so I started my YouTube channel. It really was just to get better at teaching, like get more practice because I
Okay.
was mostly staying at home with my kids and then I would just teach on the weekends. So I thought I'm never going to get good at teaching if I'm only teaching like once a week.
That's very interesting. How do you feel the crossover is as far as like teaching virtually versus
Mhm.
like to a camera to teaching in
Yeah.
person? Because I coming from the opposite way of starting and doing everything in person to going
Oh,
virtual,
right.
I found it so difficult because I was so
Mhm.
used to having someone to actually interact with.
Yes.
Now I just like when I'm teaching, I'm just like trying to imagine, I'm like, okay, what would they be saying right now? Or what would they be
Right.
asking?
Yeah, it actually did help me improve well, definitely help improve my programming skills because they're pretty similar. You're planning a class regardless whether there's people on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that was good. But it's so scary to film. It's scary to know people are going to see it. It takes a lot of reps to feel comfortable being around people or being in front of the camera and knowing people are going to see it.
Question
So
for you. How many, if you could guess and think back to it, how many times do you think that you started filming yourself and then stopped before you finally filmed one and actually uploaded it?
Oh yeah, I know. I mean,
Because I mean,
and I
I
film
probably
stuff
did
so much.
15 or 20 and I kept
Yeah,
like, oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's horrible. No,
I
this is not
know.
uploadable.
Yes, it's hard as Pilates instructors too, because like most of us want to talk in our videos, and then it makes filming time so much longer, versus like a fitness person who doesn't talk in their videos. So yeah, it's
And
hard.
I'd say too, to that point, I have learned to stop talking as much. Like I said, when we're
Yes.
teaching in a class, we're talking a
Yeah.
lot. It's hard as hell to talk and do if you're doing everything. Like
Exactly. Yes.
I'm huffing and puffing on
Right.
something that is hard, but is made 10 times harder because I'm not breathing properly from talking.
Right, absolutely. So yeah, my whole goal was like I was like, I'll do one video a week.
Mhm.
I didn't think I never thought about it from a money perspective. I never thought it could be a job. I just thought it could be something I could do for fun, get better at teaching.
Yeah.
Once my kids go to school full time, in a couple years, then I will start teaching in a studio in person much more. That was my plan. But after about a year, I don't know, maybe it's just like the algorithm on YouTube was showing me like how much money I make on YouTube and how to be successful on YouTube, even things that were not fitness. And I thought, this really could be a wonderful job
Mhm.
and super flexible for a mom if this works. So that's after a year point, I bought a YouTube, I went through a YouTube course. And that's when I kind of fully committed to like really trying to put one video out a week
Mhm.
and then learn all the stuff about titles, thumbnails,
Yeah.
equipment, all that.
Is
Uh,
there any specific area that you found like your YouTube course? Was that just something that you ran across that was hosted on YouTube? Was it something from someone that recommended it? Or like how did you find your YouTube course?
I think it was the girl's account. It was from Instagram. Like it was suggested to me on Instagram. So I followed her. And then since then, like a year after that, I have done another course since then and like worked one-on-one with someone.
Yeah, very nice. So you
Yeah.
started in 2001, and you
Mhm.
said it kind of took you a full year, like that whole first year. How would you describe your first year on YouTube?
It really feels like if you never run and you're like, okay, I'm gonna run a 5K, like the first little road you go down, like the amount of effort it takes, like you're like, I've literally ran for 2 minutes and I am dying. Like it takes so much effort. Like that's how it felt because you have to learn so many new skills, learning how to edit, how to film, how to teach and cue. I mean, it's just so many things. And now those same tasks take me like a second. It's like no brain power to do it, like 3 years in.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got to be willing to like get through that discomfort of not knowing what you're doing and being okay with it, being patient with yourself.
I will say again, probably the biggest thing I've learned is becoming organized in that first year of, okay, here's my method of film a video, then put it here for editing, then trying to have systems set up that way you can almost plug and chug it of, hey, here's my video,
Yes.
here's what I have to do next, here's next. So can you kind of talk us through like that process of developing your style that's made your YouTube stand out? How you went from teaching just Pilates, because you're originally doing Pilates reformer, correct?
Like just in the very beginning, I did like mat Pilates and a little bit with weights. And then I tried to go all in on reformer because I felt like there was like less competition in a way. And people who I could just tell they were filming on their iPhone. It was really basic. There was not major editing. Like they had 20,000 subscribers. So I thought, okay, I could have to me, I'm like, oh, that's a huge channel. That might work for me. But we've talked about this. The further I went on, I realized there's not that many like people and views in that space. So that's why I switched to wall Pilates and then like strength training and that kind of thing. More of a hybrid.
Was there any shift in like what you're using or again your processes of how you would film?
So I always try to write out the workout the day before on like a little whiteboard so that when I'm filming, it's like right to the side and I can see, what the exercises are. I've learned for myself, I'm much more creative in the morning. So I try to, even if I'm filming the next day, I try to like right when I wake up, start programming. I mean, there have certainly been times where it's the night before and I've got to plan it out, but my ideal world, yeah, I do it in the morning. And then what I've changed from like I used to film and then edit the next day because I was just absolutely exhausted from filming. But I've learned now I do try to edit as quickly as I can because I remember, oh, I made a mistake here. Oh, it took me 3 times until I got it right. Whereas if it's the next day or a couple days later, I don't remember that. So then I'm watching and editing it. And then I'm like, oh, wait, the actual good one was way down here.
Another tip that I actually learned from the YouTube course that I'm in the middle of right now. She said whenever she is doing a lot of talking, like we sometimes do, or if you're doing things, whenever you have your good take, she always claps.
Yeah, that's a great. I'm even like I know for me with Final Cut Pro, you can see underneath, the little sound waves. So you'd definitely be able to see a clap. But then if you could look for that and then cut it there, that's smart.
Let's talk about year one to year two. For those out there that are kind of looking at getting into it. Again, year one, how much growth would you say that you saw? And by the end of year one, were you in
Yeah.
the wall Pilates space? Had you fully figured out that wall Pilates was kind of your
No.
niche? Okay, so you're
No. Yeah, so yeah, let's just say August to August. I probably had put out 25 videos within that first year. Um, I think I had 800 subscribers maybe within that first year. Um,
still
you don't
that's
get many comments or anything, but that's part of the problem is like you feel like in the beginning there's people are not really interacting with your content, so you're not really sure what people like or what they want. And after that first year point when I took that YouTube course, I realized, oh, you're really supposed to kind of create a niche or like a target audience. Who are you? Like to me, I'm like Pilates is for everyone. Like just come to my channel, please. But it does help to really try to talk to like a specific person, or even with Pilates, it doesn't have to be a specific age. Like, I feel like for a fitness channel, it could also be what type of like, even in my group reformer classes, there's a lot of different ages, but they all like the same kind of like hard workouts that I give,
Yeah.
so maybe the commonality is not the age, but the type of like feel of the workout. So, yeah, getting more niche down. So I realized, okay, I'm going to try to create more for like women in their 30s to like early 40s. I mean, I definitely have a lot of ages, beyond that, but that's me, I'm 36.
Yeah.
So I can speak to how it's hard to work out with your kids around, or how it's hard to fit in workouts,
Yeah.
so even though I might throw in a little things in there with the fitness workouts talking about that, but maybe on my Instagram or in the community pages or my emails, that's where you can kind of have people be like, oh, she gets me.
Build that community of, hey, she's in
Mhm.
my shoes. She understands my barrier
Yes.
to reaching my goals.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. And it's like, if you've got good workouts and so does this other person, but if they are like, I really identify with her, then they'll want to work out with you.
exactly. So by
Yeah.
year two, let's go ahead and assume you've already done 3 full years. Year two, what really changed for you in that year? If by the end of year one you only had 800, to year
Yes.
two is I feel like when I really saw your channel blow
Yes.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was August, was the year one. By February, that's where I started creating the wall Pilates. And I had also learned about TubeBuddy. I know we've talked about that, the little extension you can put on your YouTube channel so you can search like what are people searching. And when I looked up how many searches there were for reformer, I'm like, I don't know how many there were, maybe 100,000, could
Which
have been
again, not a
50,000.
lot
I don't know.
of standards.
Yeah, it's like you really want to be creating workouts that like it's one I can understand for reformer, especially if you're trying to get people to go to an app
Yeah.
and like pay for something, like it does make sense to put reformer on YouTube for sure. But for me, I didn't want to make an app, so I thought, okay, you got to make something that more people can do. And while Pilates, I was seeing a little bit about it and I had people asking me about it. So I thought, let me just put it up on my channel and see what happens. And I put up 2 videos that first week. They were short, beginner, easy to edit and everything. And then it just like blew up. So that was February. By August, I had 100,000 subscribers. So I grew, yeah, it was crazy.
That
So it
is
was like 1,000 in January and then 100,000 in August.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
And when in that process, again, going from talking a little bit about gear, and we'll get into really what you use more so
Yes.
towards the end. And that process of hitting, growing your channel that much, is that when you really said, okay, I need to start investing? Because I find that to be something
Mhm.
myself and I hear a lot of other people talk about is, oh, I don't want to invest in gear because I'm not seeing, a ton of return. But at the same
Yes.
time, you kind of have to invest in some gear. It
Oh,
doesn't have to be top of the line. You don't have to spend $30,000 on equipment, but you do
no.
probably spend, $1,000 roughly to get some good lighting, get some good mics, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, with year one, I used my iPhone. Year two, I bought a camera. It was like $800 camera. We can talk about that after. But so it was, I think they both were in 4K, but I don't know, there's issues with that too, we can talk about. But then yeah, now that I'm going on year three, I bought like the
A nice camera.
$4,000. Yeah.
That's because that YouTube money is coming in. It's starting to pay
Yes,
for it
exactly.
finally.
Yeah, so then like, I told you February was when things started to take off. So in March is when I qualified for the YouTube partner program. So that's where I had already had 1,000 subscribers, but those watch hours are
Those
so
watch hours are
important.
killing me.
Yes.
Because
Oh,
it's and now it's two different because it's two tiered. There's the one tier that you have to hit 3,000 watch hours, and I can't remember
okay.
exactly what it is you get. And then you get the full every Monty and everything when
Oh,
you hit
okay.
4,000 hours. So
Yeah, it wasn't like that for me. It was just the 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Yeah.
So how did it feel to hit that goal?
So good. Like so happy. Because it's exactly what you're saying. It's like, why would I? It's hard to want to invest in something where you're not making any money from it, and it's taking so much of your time. And like for me as a mom, I'm like I want this to work, but is it ever going to work? You don't know. It's hard.
It is a little bit of a gamble, but I don't want to say YouTube is a sure bet,
Hmm.
but compared to almost all social media, I feel like it is one of the, again, takes the longest to get there, but is plugging and chugging away. You essentially have to be really bad, I feel like, to not
Yeah.
eventually hit it. You may not hit it in a year, it may
Yeah.
take a little bit longer, but it's one of those things I feel like it's an eventuality of you will get subscribers, you will get monetized. It just depends on how much effort, time, and sometimes money you want to throw at it.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a long game for sure.
Absolutely.
Gotta have
So,
that mindset.
any big changes in how you filmed or how you approached YouTube again in year two, especially after hitting your monetization? Is that something that really kind of changed the game for you? You said, okay, I'm
Yeah.
all in on this.
Yeah, I think because you especially see what views mean money wise, and you realize why would I spend 45 minutes making a reformer workout when I'm going to make $5 from that? Or I can make this wall Pilates video that's making me thousands and still, keeps growing. So, once I got monetized and I'm looking at these numbers, I thought, yeah, it makes so much sense to just ride the wave and keep creating things that people seem to really like.
Um,
Definitely guided that.
it, that's for anyone watching that doesn't quite understand how YouTube pays is, again, it's after you hit your monetization, you get it's a per thousand views, correct?
Yes. Yeah, like a rate per thousand views, like RPM is what they call it. Yes.
Again, the girl that I'm taking a course through, she's like, yeah, I still have videos that are from 5 years ago that I'm still making $100 roughly a month from that video
Yeah,
5 years ago. Uh,
right.
Again, that's not including all the videos you've produced from then. So that's why,
Yeah.
again, even if you're just starting out, you're like, oh, this video is not that great or whatever, keep going, keep at it, because the plug and chug of it all, people start to go back and view those old videos. I know for my own channel, I have one video that I did very early on that still, I look at my analytics, it probably gets, 100 views a day. And I've got a
Yeah.
small channel still. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I mean, and the other thing I didn't understand too is like your RPM can change. So when I first started, my RPM was like $3. So for every thousand views, I got $3. Now it's like almost to $15. So that makes a huge difference because like doing the math, I think if you get like 100, yeah, if you get 100,000 views a month and it's at $3, it's like I have to easy like 100,000 divided by 1,000 times three. Yeah, it's like something like that. So as time goes on and your RPM goes up, you make more and more from those videos.
so
And
is
yeah, sorry,
it
go ahead.
based off your channel of how your RPM changes, or what changes the RPM?
I think it could be like the topics that you're doing. Certain videos, some like I have a video, it pays 28 RPM, very high, extremely high, especially for fitness.
Yeah.
And then I have some where it's like $3 or yeah, like some of my older videos, the RPM is extremely low.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. It's like royalties. Like when you get your tax form, it's under like it's all taxable income, but it's labeled like royalties, like the way a show would be when you play the show again, they get royalties. It's the same thing for YouTube. So the second you post it, it becomes passive income, which is what's so great about it, is that when I started making my fitness challenges, it's like my friend said, "Oh, how much do you make from one challenge?" I'm like, "Well, I could tell you the amount I've made so far, but it'll continue to." Yes.
Uh, So, speaking of challenges, because I know you and I have talked before on Instagram and everything, that challenges are really where you say it's at. That really helps
Yes.
people. And actually, let's back up for a second. YouTube's algorithm is one of those that it wants to put the video that the person is searching for in front of them. and it
Yes.
also wants to keep that person on YouTube as long as it can. So by
Mhm.
creating bingeable content, which is the number one rule and like the golden vein of YouTube, that's what every creator wants to do. And I feel like you have hit that golden vein with your challenges because that is
Yes.
people on your channel watching. Um,
Yeah.
when was it that you kind of started doing those?
I did a small challenge within year two, like right before I did my wall Pilates one, because I had seen a video saying, how do you grow a fitness channel? And they said, make challenges. So did that. It didn't do that great. Now people are doing it, that's the other thing. It's like now people are going back and doing that challenge. But back then it was like 200 views is all I could get. I wasn't making money from it. But yeah, so then with wall Pilates, I already had that in mind. Okay, I'm going to be making these challenges. And like a 28-day wall Pilates challenge was something that other apps were making. And people were asking me, can you make a 28-day version? I had made a 7-day. But yeah, that's the great part. Like that's that bingeable thing is someone finds one video, they find day one, and they're coming back 28 more days. And they're telling their friends about it. Oh, I'm doing this challenge. So it's a great way to, like, I know Pilates people are not, they're like, oh, that's too fitnessy challenges. Yeah, I know you're gonna roll your eyes. It's like, who cares? People want to know what to do
Exactly.
each day.
That's that's a whole nother topic that we could have a
Yeah,
whole long chat on of Pilates and how Pilates
that's
is viewed
fun.
online.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, all that matters is that we're here helping people.
Yes,
With,
I know.
yeah,
It's so true. It's like I've heard people say, oh, people don't value things that they don't pay for. But in the YouTube sense, people are so grateful for free workouts. I've never felt so appreciated in any job. Healthcare, motherhood, like, you know what I mean? Like you're just not gonna get thanked in the way that maybe you always feel like you should. So it's like, it's awesome to be able
seen
to
some
do
of the
that for
comments on your
people.
channels of people being like, "Hey, I'm going through this challenge for the second." Like they've already done the
Yeah.
28, going through it again, and they're like, "I
I'm
felt
like,
so good.
what? Oh my
I've
gosh.
seen so many results," and I mean, that's so awesome. And again, they're getting that essentially for free. They unless they pay for YouTube Premium, in which case, what they get access to a lot. But it's one of those things that's I the same out of any social media that I'm on, this has been the one that I've seen the most praised and people
Yeah.
actually appreciating what it
Mhm.
is that you're doing. Uh,
Yeah. And less hate too. Like I know we've talked about that with Instagram. I feel like it's because the reach is a little smaller on YouTube. Like it's hard to make a YouTube video that gets 50,000 views, but like you could get a reel that gets 50,000 views, goes a little viral, and you'll probably get some rude comments on that because it gets shown to people who you don't really want it to get shown to.
I didn't make this video for you. Thanks for
Exactly.
your
Yeah.
sense. Not good. All right, so we're in year at the end of year two. Roughly, how many subscribers would you have said that you'd had?
Yeah, so year two, that's when I got to about 100,000 subscribers. Um,
And then
yeah, so now this August will be like year three.
yeah,
Yeah.
year three. What is your current? Where you at currently with your subscribers? I know you hit over half
Yeah.
a million, which I mean,
Yeah,
that is a
I
steep
know.
climb there that you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm at 610,000 subscribers.
That is insane. Because we
Oh.
just did a Instagram live chat not long ago,
Mhm.
getting to know you, and I believe then you were it was just before you
That's
hit your half a million.
right. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
want to say that couldn't have been definitely not more than 3 months ago. So that's, I mean,
Yeah.
having that big a shift, over 100,000
Right.
followers in 3 months.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, on average, I probably get about 30 to 40,000 subscribers a month. And then, but January was just huge for me. And that was because I was the only person who had a 28-day wall Pilates challenge. And that was something that was searched so much. So in that month, I got 100,000 subscribers, like in just 1 month.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so this year, any big changes so far of what you did in year two, lessons you learned in year two to what you're doing now that
Um,
you
I think I made sure to make a weekly plan, like a weekly workout plan. Um,
that you post
yeah,
on your stories on Instagram, I know.
yes. And I do, yeah, I'd say, yeah, with year three, like I do a weekly email too. So every Monday, people get an email from me. They get to see my new, video link. They get the calendar and just like updates or, if there's a lot of common questions, a similar question I keep seeing comment, then I'll include that. I try to make it interesting for people so they'll want to open it. But the weekly plans really helped. I did a little in year one, but I'm like, oh, no one's even doing it. So what's the point? But you gotta like care before people care. You've got to do what the big YouTubers are doing for people to just like catch on and be like, okay, she's putting out something at the same level, like she's putting the same amount of effort that these other YouTubers are.
Yeah, essentially, again, you could be on YouTube not for the money, but you almost have to care as if it is your full-time job.
Mhm.
And that's where you're gonna really start to see that return
Yeah.
on your videos and your views and everything.
So
Uh,
yeah, I'd say, yeah. So with year two, keeping up with the challenges, maybe like every 3 months, trying to put out a challenge, and then the weekly plans. I just switched recently to like a monthly plan because I found myself just dreading every week, like, oh, I gotta put this little picture together and like just do 1 month. And I think it actually works better because I can see the full month and make it work better with like the body parts and upper body, lower body. And then this week, and I don't repeat videos, so
yeah.
it's better. Yeah.
Um, So let's talk a little bit more about your actual filming and like creation process. So when you are going to go into creating a YouTube video, walk us through from ideation all the way to finished product, how you go about it.
Like now, or I
Yeah.
guess
Or let's start like year one
year
and,
one.
and what how you have changed it.
Yeah. So yeah, year one, I still would try to make the workout the night before. I did not use the whiteboard, I think. So I had to keep going back, looking at my thing, getting up and down. So the whiteboard's the way to go.
During my class yesterday was like, I need a whiteboard. Instead, I've
Yeah.
been doing let's hold my thing. I've been doing sticky notes and I'll stick
Oh,
them
that's
here.
smart.
So when I
Oh,
go
that's
to
great.
change my spring, I can look down back, this is the exercise is going to do next.
That's smart. They can't see us
A
like,
whiteboard makes a lot more sense.
yes. Yeah. Well, you live and learn. So yeah, I would use my iPhone to film. I had just like a ring light that I had my iPhone in, attached it to a mic. I did invest in like a $200 Rode mic, wireless Go. Um, for sure, audio quality is more important than video quality if you had to choose. So I was like, I upgraded my iPhone and then I got like the good mic and I got just the ring light. Now I use box lights that are brighter, but at the time that's all I used. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to make a 20-minute mat workout once a week. So I would actually edit on iMovie on my phone, which I can't believe I did. It's like so little, but that's all I had. I didn't have a MacBook or iPad or anything. So that's what I had to do. And yeah, edited. I don't even know how I made my thumbnails. After year one, I started making them on Canva. But
I say I didn't really understand until probably mid last year when I started this YouTube thing of really what a thumbnail was. Like I didn't really, I was just like, because you can just upload the video and it'll just select a still out of your video as the thumbnail for it. And
yes,
that's what I definitely did for far too long.
yeah.
Same thing with like learning SEO, those fun dreaded words and things like that.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, like even just titles. It's like what I learned from my YouTube classes it's like they call it like title flare. So instead of saying like 30-minute full body Pilates workout, it's like add some words that make it a little more interesting. Like I would look at Move with Nicole, who's huge, and I'm like, she doesn't add any of that. It's just basic, but I feel like she has created such a superior product that's like she doesn't even have to. People are gonna
I,
find that.
I feel like her channel has been around for a little while as well. So it is kind of a thing like that. Because speaking to that, I see that all the time of I'll go to try and find like uncommon or emotional words to use in my title.
Yes.
And then I'll look at someone like her or John Geary or some of the others that it's just like 30-minute Pilates reformer. That's it. And 100,000 views on it. I'm like, how do you do this?
I know. It's almost like you have to earn it. Yeah. It's like, You got to start, you got to be interesting. Yeah. Like intense or burn. And this is what I had to figure out too, is most fitness people use like body talk as the title flare, like fat burning or like get toned or so I try to balance, like I'll use a little bit, but nothing that's too misleading. And it's like, I don't know if you're really burning fat. Are you not eating before the workout? Like I can't get, if I can't guarantee it, I'm not going to say.
So you would do everything on your phone, it sounds like, edit and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Uh, and then just kind of upload. Did you have any kind of like systems as far as like anything you tried to do as far as like a description or links or anything like that that first year? Was that all you
Mhm.
had to get through your YouTube?
Yeah, I'm sure I linked my Instagram. That's probably all I had, and probably described the video a little bit, but it was pretty basic.
So what is your process now? How do you go through everything?
Um, yeah, so now when okay, so same thing, planning, filming with the picture or the whiteboard. Um, my camera now, well, iPhone does this too. You can film and you don't have to stop often. Like the camera I had year 1 to 2, the Sony ZV-1, it's really not meant for long videos. So it overheats, it stops, it turns off every 5 minutes. Disaster.
Yeah.
So bad.
Nothing worse than being in the middle of filming something and then your camera stops and you're like, crap, now I have to do all that over again.
I know. Yeah. Has happened so many times. Um, so now, oh my gosh, filming with this new camera is so much better. It can really handle. So I still will do like the warm up first. Then I always go back and just quickly watch it, make sure everything looks fine. Not watch, just like skim it quickly. Yeah. Then I'll do just like each little section. I always stop at least like after every 10 minutes just to look. Yeah.
Really? Okay. See, originally that's kind of how I filmed, and then I got away from it for whatever reason, and like yesterday, and I have thought about whether that is a good approach to do because I always felt like I hated seeing my transitions of when I could tell I stopped the camera to moving
Right.
to the next thing.
I
Like
know.
I filmed a 40-minute ab class yesterday, and I literally it's 40 minutes of nonstop me just
Oh, that's
talking through
good.
it.
Yeah. I mean, it's all, I guess yeah, I've gotten it where I filmed it and then it didn't record my audio, like your mic wasn't in. So I'm like, I don't want that to happen. So I think that's why I stopped. Now I have filmed some videos where I'm talking the whole time about something, and those ones I'll just like leave on and talk. And then that's easier to edit. It's just one huge clip and just, but the
Splice.
workouts, yeah, I do.
So you're filming on a new camera. You have, I assume, some like tripods. I remember you said you had
Yes.
some box lighting and everything now, so you upgraded your lighting. Uh,
Yeah, the lighting made a big difference. Yeah, like soft box lights. I just have like two big ones that point right at me. I think the brand is Mount Dog. I just got them on Amazon. And then for the tripod, you want to make sure it has a level on it so that you can like a little bubble so you can see that it's straight. Because I've had so many videos, it's like a little crooked
yeah,
with my iPhone, my old videos. Yeah, it's
that's it.
hard.
I'm like year one you. I'm still using my iPhone to film. I do have a level on my tripod, but I also have the little grids turned on my screen as well.
Yes, that helps
Uh,
too.
that helps so much because there's nothing worse than again it being turned. I can almost deal with it being turned one way or another a little bit. I hate it when it's slightly tilted though, like at an
Mm-hmm.
angle. That bothers me, especially when I want a head-on shot. I'm like, oh,
I know.
I almost
I
want to
know.
refilm the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's hard. I mean, you've probably seen from my videos, like I've moved different parts in my house. So then it's like you gotta figure out the right lighting. And when I did my reformer videos, I had it the back was a window, and that was it was terrible lighting because it's very dark on you then. So eventually I moved my reformer over. I was like right at the end of my reformer videos. It made a huge difference. It looked way better lighting wise.
It really does. I'm obviously have these windows that I film in
Yeah,
front
but
of,
you have the
but I always
shades,
have
which
to
is
shade down, and then
good.
certain times a day I cannot film because the sun will even hit those shades. Same thing, the backlighting is killer.
Yeah.
But I also have two big box lights and about four big ring lights that I turn on. Like I am blasting the light at
Yeah.
me, going blind, trying to do
Right, right.
things. good lighting.
But it makes a difference. It really does. It's so light and airy and yeah.
So what do you edit on now? You edit on a Mac, correct? MacBook?
Yes, I use a Mac. I bought my computer with money I earned from YouTube. And initially I bought an iPad and then I realized, oh, you cannot get, or at least I don't think you can do Final Cut Pro on an iPad. So that was a big mistake for me. It was better. It's like you're when I did went from my phone to my iPad. So it was bigger at least, and I could use iMovie. But then year two, that's where I got my MacBook because I was making money and I got Final Cut Pro. I think it's like $300 or $400.
Or
That's much higher quality editing, way faster,
is
way
that what
faster.
you still use?
That's what I use now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Um,
I have paid an editor before too. But for the most part, I edit.
yeah. How do you like it versus like iMovie and everything? And then like does music come included? Because you have some music in your videos, right? Like you
Yes.
look and then let the music
Yeah.
while you're doing exercises.
Yeah. The music's not included. I use Epidemic Sound. I think it's like 17.99 a month.
Yeah.
I love their music. Like,
Same.
it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then so you go through, you edit your video. Is there any particular process that you have in editing? Again, the girl that I'm taking class from, she says, and hers are more talking head videos, but she edits back to front, which I have done in the
Mhm.
past. I
Yes.
still most likely go front to back, or yeah, front to back though now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mostly go front to back, but like I said, if sometimes there's 3 times that I did something, then I will start at the bottom, like start at the back and then work my way up because I know I messed up and had to change it. But yeah, Final Cut Pro gives you the ability to, well, you can get these little add-ons. It's called, it's from Pixel Film Studios. I think it's like $40 from a website. You can download it onto your MacBook, and then that goes onto Final Cut Pro. That's how I have all those like interval timers and the titles of the different exercises and stuff. Like it does add editing time, but when I do workouts, like fitness workouts, I love seeing how much time do I have left? Like how long are we doing these exercises? So because I want to attract both like a fitness audience and Pilates, like I want my workouts to look like kind of like fitness people's
Yeah.
do.
It's I was curious about how the timers work because I've never seen or I've yet to figure out how they work. So good to know there.
Yes.
Um, I will say kind of the same thing is, when I'm doing a video, I like to add in the name of the exercise that I'm doing. And then for me, since I do reformer mostly, it's something that has set mine apart that so many people comment on. It's little things like that timer or the name even.
Yes.
But adding in the overlay of, hey, I'm not only telling you the spring, but here's an image of the springs that
I
I have
love
on.
that. Yes.
People love that so much. So
Yeah, I've never seen anyone do that. When I did reformer, I just did like the writing, but like yours, that's smart.
that
That's
was
great.
a little mini stroke of genius, but it was also I had a full day to sit there, do all the spring combinations, have my tripod set up and all my lighting,
Um,
and go through and edit it and all that.
yes.
But again, well worth it to find that little bit of a niche thing that you can add that
Yes.
sets you apart.
It is. Yeah, it's like what can often set you apart, especially with Pilates channels, is effort. Like people would notice effort. So if you can they know it takes work on your part to do that, and then they appreciate it, or like it takes effort to edit out your ahs and ums, and we talked about that. You realize how much you say those things, but yeah, that can really set you apart when you take the effort to do that stuff.
Yes, absolutely. The other thing that I noticed when I edit is when I used to edit, I would edit everything. Like I would go through piece by piece and I would, edit a series and then I would put in the name, then I'd put in that little image, then, mess with the lighting and all that. Now I find it in my process of I go through first and first thing is I'll do like all my lighting corrections through the entire video. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll go back through the entire video and cut out like my different chapters and then add in the titles of the exercise, then go back and how
Yeah.
how you edit, or are you more of a stick to one part, finish all in one part before you move to the next?
Yeah, I mean, I mostly will cut everything up before I add any of the titles or things on top. Yeah. So I just, they use like the blade tool, just cutting everything, making sure it's all, like it's a 20-minute video, making sure you got it all there. The only problem is because I do, got to do the exercise for 40 seconds, then it's not perfect, right? So I have to go back and I will be making more cuts, or I might have to like repeat, copy and paste. I'm like, oh, I didn't go for 40 seconds. So I gotta add in a little bit more.
A little trick that some of y'all may not realize, but it saves time.
Yes.
There's so many times where I've been like, all right, we're gonna do 15 reps of this. And then when I go
Yeah.
back to do my editing, I'm like, crap, I only did 12. Let me snip, add on
Yes.
3
Exactly.
more reps to
Yeah. Or like, yeah, like a 30-second stretch at the end. I'm like, I gotta go get my kids from school. So I'm gonna make it 15, but then I'm just gonna like double,
add it all.
copy paste. Yeah.
Um, so and about how long does the editing process take of like just getting in again, the video quality, adding in like the names, again, your timers and all that.
Yeah.
How long does that portion of the actual video editing process take you typically?
I'll say for like a 20-minute workout, because that's mostly what I've been doing, 2.5 hours.
Versus how long would you say it took you when you first were starting?
Oh my gosh. 6 hours. I don't know. Yeah. Well, initially I forgot about this. When I filmed, because I had little kids, I filmed with no talking and I did a voiceover, like how Move with Nicole does. Yeah, just because my kids, just couldn't have a quiet house. So that's what I did. So the voiceover actually, it took a long time because I'd say, oh, I don't like how I said that. Let me redo it. Let me redo it. Whereas if you talk during your video, you have to just work with the takes that you have.
I agree. That gave me a little bit of PTSD because I also did the voiceover to start. And I'm pretty sure it was because of her videos as well. So I was like, oh, she does it this way and has a great following. Let me try that. And again, first of all, I'd go lock myself in the other side of the house away from any and every noise I could. I'd be in the quietest room, like in a closet with my little laptop.
Too. Up
Now
against my clothes. Yeah.
3 more reps. And then I do that 5 times, like, oh, I hate how my voice sounds in all of these. Versus, I agree, it is kind of nice to just talk in your videos.
I
If you mess
know.
up, you mess up. I will say, I think people kind of enjoy the more relaxed feel of it not seeming so perfect. And if I
I
say,
agree.
oh, we're gonna do a bicep curl, and then I do something that's not a bicep curl, and I correct myself, I'm like, I don't know why my mind just said that. We're actually doing
Yes.
this. They kind of
I
enjoy
think you can show your personality, like you don't edit it out or censor your personality in the same way when you are, yeah, talking.
it. So after the editing process, then we go into, I'm sure, all the fun SEO, writing
Mhm.
descriptions, all that kind of stuff, if you've not already done that in your pre-planning, or when do you tend to do that for your videos?
I mean, it's hard because I guess I don't, I mean, depends because if I'm making a challenge, it's like I already know what the title's gonna be, like day 14 of whatever. But I do try to include in the description things like, beginner Pilates workout. Or this like could be a good workout for like a Pilates for weight loss. Like I'll use these terms I know people are looking up, but of course word it in a way where it makes sense. Um,
Because again,
but yeah, trying to get the right people who are searching for the things to find my video.
that's how I was watching a YouTube video that YouTube recommended as a creator the other day, and they were talking about in the description, do not just go in your description and type in all your buzz or keywords and it not
Mm,
make sense. Like
yeah.
you can add some in there, but it needs to be part of a conscious thought, not just weight loss, fat loss,
Yeah.
whatever. Like you can't just tag a bajillion things in that. Uh,
Yes.
so, um, because I think they actually said that that goes against their rules of terms and conditions of
Oh,
like
wow.
spamming. Um,
That makes sense. And even so, I mean, if your video is not good, like if your own audience is not really watching it, it doesn't, even if you have all the right keywords, that year too, after I took my YouTube class and I was putting all the right keywords in my reformer classes, still wasn't growing. I still wasn't growing that much. So I think the most important thing is, do you have quality videos that people, stay on?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so then for your posting process, how do you go through that?
Yeah, so I'll upload the video and then I always include the end screen is always a playlist for something else.
Hmm.
Yeah, like a subs you can choose. So as the video is ending, it'll show you, suggestion for something else. Like everyone should always do that and do it to a playlist because then you'll get more watch time because people will look at one video, then look at another, then look at another. Like YouTube will show you the average time that someone spends when they click on this playlist is 7 minutes. It's like, wow, you got 7 minutes of watch time from a brand new person. And that can really add up.
Yeah. Again, and
Plus, it's value for the people too, because they want to see the workouts.
yeah, you're again, they especially for a brand new person, they may have just perchance happened upon this one video of yours. Now you're showing them a playlist. The one
Mhm.
video intrigued them, the playlist of other things gonna make them possibly hit that subscribe button and be a regular. Uh,
Yes. And especially if it's like part of a challenge, then that playlist should be there. So they say, okay, this was day 3. And
yeah,
then here's the,
exactly.
yeah.
I jumped in on day 3 for whatever
Mhm.
reason. That was the first video I saw. Let me go back to
Yes.
day 1. Uh,
Right.
I do think the end screen format that I always choose is I can pick a video or let the YouTube pick a favorite video that or a video
Oh,
they
yeah.
will like, and then it's always a playlist. Um,
Yes.
and so it's like 2 that always pop up.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
and you can do cards too, like especially for the talking videos. So cards are the little things that pop up on the side. So especially the talking videos where I say, I created this video about form tips for wall Pilates. I'll link it up here. That's another way that people can watch. If you have a video where you can see you're losing people at a certain point, you could put a card right before that point so that people, most people are going to leave anyway. Then, okay, let me click this and,
yeah, see what else I got.
yeah, maybe they'll like that instead.
Uh,
So yeah, always use cards, always use the end screens.
yes. Any other tips like again, especially for first time creators of what they should absolutely be starting out and where the most of their focus should be on? I know you said out of like video quality and
Mhm.
audio to you is king. That's what you saw
Yes.
that with.
Yeah,
Any other
absolutely.
tips as far as like key areas for someone in year 1 to focus on versus year 2 and year
Mhm.
3?
I think first of all, your name. I mean, it sounds basic, but especially if you are Pilates, like include Pilates in your name. Like I think even just saying like if I was like Rachel Fit, well, if Pilates is my main thing, people are not going to really know. I think that's important to include Pilates in your name and to include your name. Like I think Pilates is the most important thing or fitness, whatever it is. But you know, or like move with Rachel, Pilates with Rachel, whatever it is, something where they know you're not either just not a studio or I don't know, they want to know that there's a person. Who's the person? They could be doing your videos for a long time and they have no idea what your name is. So
I kind of
um
like that for the longest time on my Instagram. No one knew my name. They just knew
yeah.
they were like, "Hey, Mr. Atlantis," and I was like, "Yep, I'm fine with
Oh,
that."
that's great. Yeah.
But now I realize that was to a detriment. I now I'm like, "Hey, I'm Reed, everyone."
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. And then just like your description, my like from the about me kind of thing. When I started, it was like I don't know what I wrote, but I felt like when I first started, it was more about here's me. I used to dance, I used to weightlift, I used to all about me. What I've changed is here's what I can do for you. Really switching that. That's what those YouTube courses teach you. It's like it's not about you. You want to have people see this is what she can do for me. This is what her workouts are like. Here's her training. Like I feel like if you have certifications, you should include that in there so they know you're a qualified professional. So yeah, I feel like that's an area that I see a lot for just new people that they just talk about themselves. They don't talk about like I've looked at your description. Yours is great. You're saying what you can do for the people.
This is why you're here and what I can do for you, uh,
Hmm.
versus, "Hey, here's me and everything about me to make." Again, your channel isn't for you; it's for the viewers. It's
Yes.
gonna make a
Yeah.
portion of your channel about the viewers.
Yeah. And, that might have worked. Like, I feel like when I was younger, like in my, like, let's say 2010s, it was like, oh, fitness, you're so inspirational because you look good. But it's like, that's not enough these days. You have to really be authentic. You have to care about these people's experience. Like, no one cares about, I don't know. I mean, my whole thing is not about people following my life. Like, I don't want to create a business like that. It's about, yeah, what my skill set, what I could do for you. To me, that's more fulfilling. I know it's not, not for everyone, but I don't want to be famous. I just want to do what do what I love.
It kind of goes into that, like, in industry terms, we technically are like an influencer, but that's not what I call myself. I
Mhm.
would rather call myself a content creator than an influencer, because I'm not
Yes.
trying to influence you in the way that most people think of influencers nowadays. I'm
Yeah.
trying to create content for you to help you with whatever problem it is.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's the number one thing I think YouTube is used for, is learning or fixing something. It's right there, and Google owns it, but it's right behind literally going to Google and search again, how do I do? That's the number one thing YouTube is used for, is how do I do this? How do I learn Pilates? How do I fix
Yeah.
this kind of thing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's amazing about Google owning YouTube is like when I look up, like if you look up wall Pilates workout or 28-day wall Pilates challenge, you'll probably find my channel. Like, do you know how much money people probably have to pay for those primo spots? I'm like, I never paid a cent in advertising. And
yep,
here it's just like, come to YouTube. That's
yeah.
incredible.
Um, well, how about any piece of equipment? Anything, again, for someone just starting out? Again, good lav
Mhm.
mic, you said, versus
Yes, yeah, I have some of the equipment with me. Like the Rode mic looks like this.
mhm.
You gotta look up the attachments too. Like if you're doing an iPhone or if you're attaching it to a camera, the Rode mic for sure. Um,
Because question on that one, because I don't
mhm.
have that. I have a lot cheaper one. Um,
Oh yeah.
how well does it do? Because I found anytime I would attach a mic to my shirt, if my
Mm,
shirt moved, which it's going to when you're exercising, the
yes.
weights and stuff, does that one cancel
Yeah.
that, or does it still do that?
No, it does because you know what? I have to I wear certain shirts having like knowing if I wear a high neck thing, yeah, it's gonna rub. And even like I have this other thing. I see people wearing these, it clips on and it attaches. But my hair's so long, even up, that it'll brush against it. That's why it takes so long to film in the beginning because you're messing up, all this stuff. But yeah, I don't know. So I usually wear shirts that are like kind of tighter, like thick material, so it doesn't.
Doesn't slide.
Yeah.
I'll say for me, being a guy, that is one of the number one reasons why I wear a hat, is because now I just clip it right there. Because rarely is my hat moving or anything brushing against my head. The only
Yeah.
bad thing is if
So
I'm lying
smart.
on my back, I have to turn my hat around. So it
Oh,
may hear something then, but that is
mm,
my number one, because I
yeah.
used to wear it right there and it would just brush, brush, brush and be so
Yeah.
loud and I
I
would
know.
have
But
terrible.
I've seen your videos though. Your quality is fine. Like I
Thank
don't
you. I
see
appreciate it.
yeah, difference. Yeah.
So how about some other equipment, some other favorites of yours?
Yeah, so for beginner, like I said, iPhone, I feel like that's fine to film with. Getting the mic, a good mic, wireless mic. And I would try to invest in box lights. I feel like that made a difference,
Yeah.
I mean, you could do a ring light, but
You can get them. I have some nice box lights, but you can get some really decent ones for not super expensive too.
no, yeah, they're not bad.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then
And then I guess like just talking about like the beginning with YouTube, like I would try to like if I were to start a YouTube channel right now, I would put out 7 videos and make a 7-day challenge. Like
that'd be number one.
whatever you want to make your Pilates and something, yeah, make a challenge. I
Huh?
feel like that's a great way to start. And you don't have to, I mean, it could be up to you. You could just wait till 7 are filmed and then put out, one by one, or you could put them all out and then turn them into a 7-day challenge and kind of just like change the titles.
Yeah.
I could
Okay.
either work. Yeah. But I do think and then start, once you get enough videos, you can't really do weekly plans when you don't have very many videos yet, but Yeah, I
We
would.
do you when you do your weekly plan, we go back and be like, hey, here's this old video. We're gonna add
Yeah.
this video in with this one.
Yeah.
Okay. We get
Yeah. And a lot of my videos are a little shorter. So what I did with my June calendar is like I did the video of the day that, I make it on Canva. And then I also included like a bonus video, like a link to a bonus video, because I make them on Canva as a PDF so people can just click the picture and go right to YouTube. So then doing that bonus video, then it's like you get an extra view, but then people are also happy because they want the longer workout. And I almost always say that at the end of my videos, if you feel like doing something more, here's a video, that I've attached.
Yep. Got to keep them saying, hey, go to this
Yes.
one now.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Put it
most
away.
people, yeah, like I guess beginners, I mean, they might only want a 20-minute video, but especially as your subscribers, like they've been with you for a while, like my people in January were total beginners. And then like what they're doing now, I'm like, wow, that's incredible. They've gone through 4 challenges. They can handle so much more now. So it's good.
Um, and then another thing I know we didn't touch on, but this is definitely something, especially as someone that still films on their phone,
Yeah.
a external hard drive or something to upload. Like I
Mm,
now will take my videos, send it to my computer, and then I have a SD card, like 1 terabyte SD card that I offload
mm,
it.
yeah.
A for organization, but B so
Uh-huh.
I have plenty of room on my phone because I still edit on my phone too. So sometimes I'll go to finish editing,
Yeah.
try and upload it, will be like, there's not enough storage.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah,
Suck.
to take a video from iMovie and then try to download onto your phone, and it takes so long. And then it tells you that you don't have enough space. Yeah,
That's
that's my whole
absolutely
year one of YouTube. Yeah.
that's where
So
I'm still at. So I'm learning some things. I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, Reed, it might be time to start upgrading my own stuff because
it'll
definitely
change your life, especially to do it on a computer. Yeah, even if you just do it on like a MacBook and then with even with iMovie, it's gonna because it how quickly it downloads on a computer is amazing compared to on the phone. And even uploading to YouTube, it's so much faster than trying to upload from your phone, at least in my experience. So
Well,
yeah.
any last minute tips, advice, anything you got for someone starting a YouTube or that is in the process? Again, those people that are maybe 6 months in and feeling like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know.
I think where a lot of people kind of get frustrated is that the niche part is like what really makes your workouts different. Like I've had people come, ask me like, oh, I have a YouTube channel, it's just not growing. I've seen her growing so much. Like, uh, what are you doing? And I talked about like that niche part, and then they just like took my description of how I explain my channel and like made it theirs. And I'm like, that's not the point. Like you don't try to be like someone else. Like, yeah, I've created something that has done well. But it's not like the Pilates is not your product. Like you've heard that so many times, right? It's really true. It's not your product. It's so much more than just the exercises or oh, it's the Pilates and strength or oh, it's like for Move with Nicole, it's like yoga and Pilates. It's like it's who are you speaking to? It's the effort in your videos. It's like what do you take the effort to put out the weekly calendars? So yeah, I think I've grown. Yes, I did something that was really searched, and for someone to put that out now, it's so they're so saturated. There's so many videos now. It's just not gonna, yeah, you can't grow with wall Pilates the way that I grew just because it was like the very beginning.
You're right there at that right time, pivotal
Yes,
moment. And
pivotal.
that's what
It's like
I
a
feel
once in a lifetime thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that's what any and everyone has to kind of search for is what is again niche down enough that
Mhm.
some people know it, but it's not blown up yet. Like
Yes.
I would love to be like, oh, I'm doing athletic Pilates. You can't swing a magic ring around without hitting someone saying that they teach athletic Pilates now. So that is not
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. YouTube, you probably could. I mean, I feel like that's a little bit more niche down. Yeah. But like what I learned from my YouTube classes too, is like the smaller you are, the more niche down you need to be. So yeah, you don't make like whatever move Nicole is doing, like the way she's titling it, don't do it like that. Like make it something different about you. Maybe it is something about like you being a mom, like workouts for busy people or workouts that you can do during your lunch hour. There's just so many different things. And yeah, like following the trends, like wall Pilates was trending on TikTok, so look, see what people are talking about and try to get that before other people do, I guess.
Like it's find the trend and then make it yours. How does that trend then apply to you? And that's kind of the key to
Yes.
success. That seems very much like what you did with wall Pilates, as you said.
Yeah, because I was like, yeah, make it so, I know Pilates exercises, make it so that it could translate to you being able to do more advanced exercises. I had to really, figure it all out on my own because there's no manual on wall Pilates, but I kind of like that. And I feel like people are attracted to like just the creativity. They want something different. They like something engaging. So I probably attract those people, and I probably like don't attract people who want classical Pilates, for example, or they don't want any talking in their workouts. Like you can't please everyone. And people will ask me, oh, could you do prenatal Pilates? Could you do Pilates for arthritis? I'm like, that's not my main group. So I can't, I'm not gonna do it.
I feel like that's a very good lesson about the kind of the trap of too much from your audience is you do want to ask them some of, hey, what do you want to see next? But then you have to distill down of here's the 15 things they asked for. Here's the three that fit
Mhm.
within what I teach and is me. The rest again,
Yes.
you just have to say you can't say yes to everything. You have to say, no, that's
Yeah.
not really my niche.
Yeah, you can't be everything to everyone. So if I know for sure I will never make the video they asked for, I'll say, I'm sorry, I don't have a video like that, but here's a channel that does. So it's good to know other channels and who has what. And then you can, they feel happy and they feel like, oh, she suggested something and she says it doesn't give me more views, but I'm like, I'd rather help serve you, give you what you need rather than me trying to make videos I don't want to make.
Exactly. Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today. I know I've learned a lot. Hopefully, everyone else has learned some things. Where can everyone find you if they're searching for you on the internet?
So on YouTube, it's Rachel's Fit Pilates. And then same thing for like Instagram and TikTok. I'm mostly, I'll post a little on there, but that's another thing with my YouTube course. They were like, if you really want YouTube, focus on most on posting on YouTube. So I don't post a ton. Like I'll post in stories a little bit on Instagram, but I don't make a ton of reels and that kind of thing. So
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us today. I greatly
yeah, it's
appreciate
fun.
it and look forward. We'll have to plan some other chats again. There's plenty we can talk
I
about
know there's so much, so many
Pilates
avenues.
space.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, well, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and we'll talk to
Thank
you.
you.
Yep.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.